What to do when you're feeling intimidated by a seller. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and welcome to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If you're looking to make money in real estate wholesaling, then this is your place. We love to do big, fat, juicy, profitable deals. And if this sounds good to you, welcome. You are my people. I've got a gift for you. Head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. And there you can download a copy of the very same script that we use in our business. We've used it to lock up over 1,300 deals. And it's going to tell you step by step what to say to a seller when you're on the phone with them the first time. So go ahead and check that out. nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script to get your free copy today. All right, let's go ahead and listen to today's question.
Todd, because I heard that you said you have to be strong with your negotiation, right? Yeah, so that's my problem, because how do you not get intimidated, or how do you overcome the intimidation from the seller when they are too strong?
So I could really relate to this question. I remember when I first got started, I couldn't get two words out of my mouth. If you don't know me, I'm kind of actually introverted by nature, right? So when I'm on the podcast, I kind of tend to come out of my shell a little bit. But I remember talking to that seller, and I was, pretty nervous, right? I was number one, I was intimidated by the seller that I met the first time. I didn't know if they were going to judge me. I didn't know if they would think I was going to be a fraud. And I remember my hands were shaking as I was, trying to sign the agreement. Now, there are a couple of different things at play here, right? You have the sellers where you may be intimidated and you don't know what to say, and I get that. And there may be a bully who you have on the phone where they're trying to bulldoze you. So we're going to differentiate between the two. But first of all, if you're listening to this podcast, I highly recommend that you go ahead and invest in the No Limits Selling System. The No Limits Selling System is the exact same system that I've used to train my sales team. I've used it when I hired my first acquisition specialist, Brian, and I remember I was having a really hard time getting him to close deals, and he was getting beat up by sellers and totally intimidated. And then we put together what I had in my brain, and we put it into a repeatable system and trained him. That was basically the basis for the system. And after that, he was confident, he was clear, he knew how to get off the phone with sellers at the right time and stay on the phone with the right sellers and compress that timeline. And it really changed everything with him. His confidence really went through the roof. So if you have not invested in that and you're a listener of the podcast, what are you waiting for? Head over to nolimitssalesystem.com. You can also go to nolimitssalesystem.com/backdoor to go right to the sales page. The price is embarrassingly low. It's a no-brainer if you're serious about making money in this business. So go ahead and check that out. But I'm going to give you some tips on this show. And, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is, again, you want to differentiate between the sellers who bully, right, and have no interest in doing business with you, and those who have a genuine interest. And so I'm going to give you some skills that will help you realize which ones you have. And the number one rule of talking to any sellers, right, is do not chase the deal. Do not chase the deal. I tell this story almost every episode, but I had my dog, Molly, great dog. I got her when I was 12 years old. And the thing about Molly is whenever we used to open up the door to our house, she used to run out the front door and down the block to Lindell Elementary School down the block from our house on West Bay Drive. And when we used to chase Molly, because we used to freak out because, the cars were in the road, she used to keep running down to Lindell School. And then we figured out, wow, if we run the other way, Molly will stop running and chase us. And that was a huge revelation because, Molly didn't really run away anymore, right? We just had said, hey, Molly. And we used to just run the other way. We used to run back in the house and she used to come in the door. We used to give her a treat, and that was awesome. So number one, don't chase the deal. Number two is that you need to control this negotiation. It's very important. You need to use a script. So go ahead and download that. You need to ask questions. All the pressure should be on the sellers, not you. That's very, very, very important. Okay. You need to be willing to get off the phone with anyone who's not cooperating. So if you're asking questions and they refuse to answer and their tone is loud, just say, hey, I don't think we have a fit here. Right. Now notice that's a pull away. right? It's something I talk about in the no limit selling system, right? And I go, I'm not feeling it, right? Just get off the phone. Now, obviously, you want to try a few things. I'm going to talk about a couple things that you can use before you get off the phone. But if someone's being difficult and they don't want to sell and they're intimidating, just get out of there, right? And so you want to test that to see what you have. Now, you may have a seller who's just maybe a little guarded, and that's okay, because sometimes those are some of the most motivated sellers. So be willing to get off the phone with anyone who's not cooperating. But the next thing is you need to use reluctance. This is a tool that we talk about in the no limit selling system. You want to be reluctant in purchasing the deal. So something I might say is, Mr. Seller, it doesn't really sound to me like you're all that interested in doing business with me, right? And I'm not sure if you're not ecstatic, like, I don't want to do the deal. Now, you noticed I pulled away, right? I was reluctant. I'm not chasing the deal. The seller is not expecting you to do that. Now, they may, if they're really unmotivated, just say, you're right, and click. Or they might say, well, no, that's not it. I just have had a lot of these phone calls and a lot of postcards, and I'm just exhausted. These agents are banging down my door. The next thing I might try at this point would be the stealth mismatch, right? I might say, hey, sounds like you're better off listing with an agent or going with somebody who might pay you full retail price, right? That might be the best thing for you, right? As an investor, I've got to make a profit. Now, no seller expects you to say that, right? That's why they call it the stealth mismatch. You're stealthy, but you are trying to basically put the ball in their court. So go ahead and do that and go from there, okay? My third recommendation then is use the no limits selling system. That's going to be very, very important if you haven't invested in it. Now, of course, if you don't have the money for that, right, you can listen to these podcasts and string these together, and that is totally for free. I try to give away as much as I can on this podcast so that if someone does not want to invest in themselves or doesn't have the resources, you can do that. So you can piece that all together and make that happen. Now, let me talk to you about one of the things that actually makes this all work. And that is the concept of leads, okay? Because if you don't have leads, it's very hard sometimes for you to put this into practice. If you don't have leads, you're going to feel desperation, right? You're going to have scarcity, right? So lack of leads equals scarcity equals desperation. And so you're going to feel like you have to do business with this one person on the phone, holding on. They call this in the car industry commission breath. And you do not want commission breath. Okay, you need to have leads. So my recommendation to you is the best time to start marketing was yesterday. The second best day is today, and you want to make that happen right now. You need to market today, market often, market till it hurts, okay? And then once you have those leads, you're going to be able to get off the phone with people. So if you're getting bullied and dominated and you're using the techniques, you're doing the stealth mismatch like I talked about, and you're doing the reluctance, and the seller's still giving you a hard time, get out of there. Just move on to the next person and say next. If you don't have the leads though, it's going to be hard to do that. So generate leads, generate leads, generate leads. I'm going to review. If you're getting bullied, by the way, the majority of sellers aren't this way. Okay. You need to determine whether you've got a bully on your hands, someone who's wasting your time, or they're just being guarded, right? So number one, don't chase the deal. Remember Molly, run the other way, okay? And let's see if they come after you. If they don't, they weren't motivated, and you are going to waste your time with people who aren't if they don't come back to you. You want to be willing to get off the phone with anyone who's not willing to cooperate. It's just there's too many sellers who are willing to do business with you right now. You want to be reluctant, right? Use that technique. You might want to pull away and say, Mr. Seller, it doesn't sound like you're very interested in selling to me, right? I'm not really sure this is going to be a fit if that's the case. And then just shut up. Try a stealth mismatch, right? Sounds like you might be better off listing with an agent or going with someone who will pay you top retail. And then, shh. You got to buy the No Limit Selling System, in my opinion. Check that out, nolimitsalesystem.com, where you could piece together the podcast. If you don't have leads, you're going to feel a sense of scarcity and you're going to be desperate. So you've got to market yesterday, you got to market today, you got to market tomorrow. If someone's not willing to do business with you, they're giving you a hard time, go ahead and make that happen. Market until it hurts. Obviously, you want to focus and have measure your ROI, but you need leads, right? Or you need a joint venture with someone who has leads, okay? Remember to head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script to get your free copy of the script today, and I will talk to you on the next episode.